Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. This article comes out every year on ESPN, and I find it kind of fascinating because they go through a lot of history and statistics and data and kind of compile things up, and then they get everybody's panties in a wad, for lack of a better term, because everybody gets all upset. It's position U. Around here, we like to talk about DBU, and if I say linebacker U, you probably think Penn State, and there's places that claim all kinds of stuff, and ESPN said, all right, well, we'll put some data behind it. So what ESPN does is they've combed through data since 1998. So you're looking at 25 years worth of data. And they look at every school, and they look at college production by way of all conference honors, all American honors. They look at the NFL draft and where players are selected, and they even look at NFL production through a player's first 5 years. And that's how they come to look at positions and say that's QBU or tight end U or DBU. So I'll say a position, and you kind of give some thoughts of who you think is number one there. Quarterback U. Since 1998. Who do you think has got that? Well, I'll tell you that USC is second. Oregon is third. You start to think about Joey Harrington and Marcus Mariota. Darren Thomas had a really good run there at Oregon as well. Then you look at Justin Herbert, what he's done. Like, okay, that makes sense. Alabama's at 4, Ohio State 5, Texas 6. Incidentally, LSU comes in at number 10 on this list since 1998. Mock had a pretty good run at it. Of course, Jamarcus being the first pick in the draft helps you a lot there. Burrow being the first pick in the draft helps you a lot there. You had Matt Flynn sign a couple of contracts in the NFL as well. But number one on QBU is Oklahoma, and that makes a ton of sense. Jason White won the Heisman in 2003, as we know. Sam Bradford won the Heisman. Baker Mayfield won the Heisman. Kyler Murray won the Heisman. You rack up 4 Heisman winners at one position, and you probably stake claim to that QBU claim. Running back U is the Alabama Crimson Tide. And as I saw that, I went, I bet LSU is close to the top of that. And LSU is close to the top. They're number 3 in that list. You go back from 1998, you can pile up Dominic Davis. You can look at Brandon Tofield, who played in the NFL. Of course, Hester had a good run of it. Stephen Ridley played in the NFL. Joseph Adai, even before that, who I missed. No Fournette, Geis. Clyde Edwards-Helaire went in the first round as well. So I thought that's a pretty good resume. But you look at Bama with Jahmyr Gibbs, Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, Josh Jacob, Damian Harris, Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake, TJ Yeldon, Eddie Lacy, Trent Richardson, Mark Ingram. That's going to be tough to deal with. The one school between LSU and Bama is Wisconsin on this list. I'm not going to argue with that. Ron Dane, Jonathan Taylor, Moneyball, you go for a long time, and they had guys getting votes, going to New York, first-round picks, big NFL production. I'm not going to qualm with that, although LSU does stake a solid claim to the number 3 spot there at running back U. Wide receiver U, I thought we had a chance there. I'm going back to 98, and I'm going, all right, we got Reed, we got Clayton, we got Bo, we got Buster Davis went in the first round. Beckham and Landry were fantastic. DJ Charks had a nice little go. Russell Gage had a nice little go. And you move forward, and Chase wins the Biletnikoff, and that's pretty good. Like, that's a salty run of wide receivers. But LSU 3 in wide receiver U behind Ohio State. You all know, of course, Michael Thomas has been pretty good. Marvin Harrison Jr. been pretty good. And I didn't mention Justin Jefferson throughout the LSU thing. But Ohio State number 2. Number 1 is USC. Jordan Addison, Drake London, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Michael Pittman, Juju Smith-Schuster. It's a pretty good list, although I think LSU stacks up pretty well with just about anybody on that list. So at this point, LSU, number 10 at quarterback, number 3 at running back, number 3 at wide receiver. That'll do. Tight ends, LSU doesn't quite make the list. But I'll tell you who does make the list on tight ends. As you might imagine, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at number 2. And you start to look at some of the tight ends that we're looking at in Baton Rouge and what we expect to see in the near future with the way Mason Taylor played and what the talent I saw with Kamori and Pimpton today, who looks great. Jackson McGowan can really run. Mac Markway is out there. You've got some younger players. You just got LaFleur committed 2 years from now. Like, you've got a pipeline of tight ends, and I would expect LSU's tight end production to be pretty good. Notre Dame number 2 on this list, and that's, a good chunk of that is thanks to Brian Kelly. Offensive line, I did not expect LSU to be on that. Interestingly enough, as we went through and I was talking about Brian Kelly's pedigree with all those first-rounders, he's had 3 in the last, since 2014, 3 second-rounders, 3 third-rounders, and LSU only had just Ethan Posick in the second round. Just haven't produced a lot of All-American and first-round, second-round offensive linemen. Like, you've had some guys that have had a good go at it. Joe Barksdale had a really nice career. Trey Turner's been a really nice player in the NFL, unfortunately got hurt this year. You've seen Lloyd Cushenberry get drafted and make some starts. Posick has had a nice little run there as well. Gerald Hawkins got drafted by the Steelers and played a little bit. Like, there have been some guys. It just hasn't been as consistent as some of the other names. When I'm rattling off some of those skill position players I was naming, like, your offensive linemen aren't stacking up to that. That's something LSU has got to change. Go to defensive line. That's where Alabama stakes their claim. LSU is down at number 7 on that list. Linebacker U, the Georgia Bulldogs, a lot of that is pretty recent. And LSU does not find itself on linebacker U either. I mean, they've had some really good ones. I think Devin White's pretty good. I think Kevin Minter's pretty good. Those guys have been awesome. Kelvin Shepard had a great NFL career, for sure. Brady James was an All-American in this time frame, as was Trev Falk. There have been some good ones, but you're not looking at number 1. And Penn State down to number 4 on this list after they had kind of staked that claim for like 20 years. But in the recruiting era and the 5-star era, you're looking at Alabama and Georgia, and they've kind of dwarfed them there at 1 and 2, Ohio State as well. And that leaves us with defensive back university, doesn't it? We know Florida likes to chirp. We know Ohio State likes to chirp. Alabama's got a stake to this claim. They've got a lot of 5-stars and have put a lot of guys in the draft in the first round. Now, some of them haven't worked out as well. But the question is, who's number 1? Well, Florida's number 4 on this list, as they're combining college production, all-conference, all-Americans, NFL draft picks, first 5 years of the NFL career. Florida comes in at number 4. Number 3 on this list is the Ohio State Buckeyes. They have had an unbelievable run of defensive backs. There's no doubt about that. The Saints have employed like half of them. Number 2 on this list, the Alabama Crimson Tide, which leaves number 1, DBU, according to ESPN, your Fighting Tigers of LSU. I mean, we can go through the list. You back up, you can predate Corey Webster, and you can go back to Ryan Clark at this point when he was early in his NFL career and through his time at LSU. And then it gets to Webster and Daniels and LaRon Landry. You hand it over to some of the elite guys that were on the 2007 championship team. Craig Stelz had a nice go in the NFL, and Chevis Jackson was a great college player, and Zenon, awesome play that he made in the SC championship game, and you funnel into the Pat Pete years and Morris Claiborne and Tyrann Mathieu. And you know the names, but it's fun to go through them. And even some of the unheralded guys like Jalen Mills has hung around for a long time. Ron Brooks had a nice NFL career and wasn't even, he was dwarfed on that 2011 team. That 2011 team, when they took the field, it was Eric Reed, it was Morris Claiborne, it was Tyrann Mathieu, it was Thorold Simon, and then you had, just get on there, Ron. Tyrann Mathieu suspended against Auburn. Go play. Pick 6. Played in the NFL and special teams for a number of years. It's crazy the talent that has rolled through there. And you got Greedy Williams. You got Stingley, Delpit. You had, obviously, Fulton. So I couldn't pull. I was thinking Rummel, thinking Titans. I'm getting everywhere but LSU. Christian Fulton. So, look. It's objective truth. You don't have to listen to me, the LSU homer, yell and scream here on a lovely Thursday. You've got ESPN doing it for you. It's the subtle says we have an official title holder for DBU. It's been an intensely close battle between LSU and Ohio State for years, with Alabama and Florida in the mix too. But the Tigers take the top spot in 2023. Credit a solid debut season from Derek Stingley Jr., who is one of 8 LSU defensive backs drafted since the team's 2019 national championship. You heard that right. 8 DBs drafted since the 2019 national championship. Major Burns could be the next in line for LSU, but they'll have to survive plenty of pressure from the Buckeyes and a host of SEC rivals who want to retain the top spot. I'll take it. DBU in Baton Rouge. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.